This week we were going to consider the subject of Krishna and his teachings. And I was hoping Babaji could perhaps please give a short description of Krishna's life, please.
Sri Krishna, personally, I have always felt one of the greatest assets for this creation, for the world, and for Bharatavarsha country. Such a great personality. He was perfect in every way. He obtained self realization in a very early age by a sadhana, and he was an expert psychiatrist, psychological expert, knew how to deal with people, different temperament people, wicked people, good people, wrong, right, weak people, strong people, like that. He knew every way, and he had a solution for every problem type. Just face it type. Like, for example, if there is a war, just face it, no problem. That type of thing. If it's imposed on you, on your own, you don't go for a war, no conflict, have peace. But if it gets imposed on you, you have a right to defend yourself. So that type, and above all, he gave the Bhagavad Gita, which is considered the highest Upanishad, highest philosophical teaching of ancient India, in which he talks that one can obtain self realization or reach the ultimate truth through all different paths, whether through meditation, whether through acquiring knowledge or bhakti marga, like that. Provided you adopt the right technique, you understand what you are supposed to do, in that way, then you can reach the ultimate truth. Like that, he tried to teach. Also, another important thing, teaching a philosophy, like teaching a meditation, we know and everybody understands it's not difficult. But in this world, when incidents happen, situations arise, we are put into such circumstances. At that time, to see justice, a larger cause, always. Not to be selfish or narrow minded, where we have to set a priority. So he taught that before, you must not define and tie it with a chain. This is all. But you never know what is your duty. At that situation only, you have to decide what is the priority. Like that, he tried to teach. For example, when Draupadi was about to be disrobed in Mahabharata, the wicked Duryodhana and his friends, they were all with him. So, including great Mahatmas, noble in nature, great knowledgeable people like Bhishma, Dronacharya, everybody failed giving definition for their duty or dharma, something else, what they had thought to be, and they had taken a oath. So they failed to see, if we protect this woman, we are going to protect the very clan that we want to protect. And also, they failed to see, protecting this woman from getting disrobed should be the priority obligation, dharma, the duty of any person. Nothing else should come, not even personal glory. Like the same, Draupadi's husbands also failed. At the same time, when Krishna, during the Mahabharata war, when Arjuna was refusing to fight, he was depressed, telling, it's my uncle, great grandsire, my this, my guru, how can I fight? How can? Krishna said, they have sided with the wrong, wicked side. So they are fit to be killed in this war. They need to be. If you are not going to fight, I will take up weapon and I kill him. Because Krishna had taken a vow, in this Mahabharata war, I will not take up any weapon. Simply I will be on one side all my Yadava army will be on another side. So Arjuna was happy to have Shri Krishna as his friend and as his guide and to be with him. But Duryodhana was very happy that all the army of Yadavas will fight standing in his side. So now, when Krishna took up the wheel of the chariot, that if you are not ready, first I will kill Bhishma and then we can fight other wars. Then Arjuna comes running. No, no, Krishna, you have taken a oath that you will not take up weapons. This is not proper. You must not. Krishna says, no problem. The world will blame me that I did not fulfill my oath, but I will be satisfied that I fulfilled the dharma, the real duty, because they have sided with the wicked person. That must be eradicated, because he dreamt if the ruler is both powerful and dharmatma. Dharmatma means who has a consideration for a larger cause of the country, the entire all subjects to have peace and happiness in his kingdom. So then only there will be peace for the subjects, people of the country, he thought. Because if one is powerful but not noble, then that person himself, king himself, will trouble the subjects. If the king is noble but not powerful, strong enough, then others will take over, dictate terms to him. He won't be able to uphold dharma. Like that, Sri Krishna taught. It's the most difficult thing to decide and teach. Many people we have seen in these 70 years on this earth, we have watched people adopting double standards. One person says, I don't believe in miracles. Other day I was watching some video of a great Acharya telling that I don't believe in miracles. I believe in the knowledge and wisdom of the scriptures. Vidvat, he said, educated person. But when the questioner pointed out, one of your disciples is trying to perform miracles, what is that magic time? But he was diplomatic. Maybe what he is doing is right. Instead of telling it is wrong, he must not be doing wrong. So like this, we see in the society, people adopting double standards very diplomatically. They don't talk frankly, but Shri Krishna never did this. He said, right is right, wrong is wrong. This is the priority. Draupadi needs to be protected. First, that is important. She is an woman. She needs to be protected from getting disrobed. For that, you don't need any king's order. That's what he taught. So these are some of his basic points which created an impact on my mind always. That's why I admired Sri Krishna. Though the world and Indians, we all consider him as incarnation of Lord Vishnu, that is a different thing. People can have their faith and belief, no problem. But as he was also born as a human being, his 7 brothers were killed by the wicked king just before he was born, just because of some astrological belief that the 8th child is going to kill. Then he wanted to kill his sister. The 8th child born to his sister will kill him. Then his sister's husband requests, only the child is going to kill you, we will give you the child. Then he puts them into jail, and as one after another children are born, he doesn't want to leave anybody or take any chance. He goes on killing them as soon as they are born. So like 7 brothers of Sri Krishna were killed. Finally, some loyal people somehow could take the baby Sri Krishna out of the jail and took him to Gokulam, where he was brought up. In those places, he was instructed by some guru that he practiced sadhana and became great self-realized, and such wonderful personality, such beautiful teachings.
Thank you, Baba. Babaji was saying that Krishna gives the guidance that the correct action is that which is for the greater good. Do we all know that instinctively, or does it take training to understand that greater good?
Most of the time, we all know that, because I tell you can cheat somebody else, but you cannot cheat yourself ever. You know what the truth is, what needs to be done. So that's yet many of us may not perform the right act at the right time that is necessary. Understand the right thing. It's the most difficult thing. It may make us lose many things. One might be afraid of losing a wealth, one might be afraid of losing a status, one might be afraid of losing the life itself. So many things that could be losing a relationship for sake of relationship, for sake of so many things. So that becomes like that. But almost everybody know what their mind is. Means what we call conscience.
So, Babaji, the thing which stops us following that greater good is simply ego?
Ego and some personal selfish reasons that we want this, we should not be losing this one, we are going to lose this one. So such things are the basic reason which forms the ego actually.
Baba, did Swamiji ever speak of Sri Krishna in particular way? Any stories which he would tell us?
He was very appreciative of Sri Krishna. He used to talk. People do not understand how much work Sri Krishna did during his lifetime. Swamiji used to talk like he hardly rested any time. Swamiji used to tell, he used to visit some kingdom where there was some injustice, argue with them, talk to them, try to make them understand like this. And then he would come back to Dwarka. Then his brother would pull him up, Balarama, elder brother. Krishna, why have you taken the contract of the entire Indian subcontinent? Why can't you stay here peacefully for some time and enjoy the time with us? In Dwarka, no, Sri Krishna hardly rested. He used to come only for few days, again take up the chariot, and with one charioteer he would proceed to another. To the length and breadth of the Indian subcontinent he traveled always, trying to see that justice is to be done. That was his dream. The king needs to be both powerful and dharmatma. Dharmatma is the word I hope you all understand, is the real noble who can see the justice to be done to all the subjects without difference. That is the important for the king. So that's what he dreamt, and he worked always. So he traveled so much, he worked. Even during the childhood of Kauravas and Pandavas also, whenever he used to come to Hastinavati, he used to advise Dhritarashtra and Gandhari, you must take care of your children. What they are behaving is not proper, because now they are children. It might not appear to be very serious, but when they grow up, the same thing can make them go into a big conflict. They should not be behaving with Pandavas like this. He always pulled them up and pointed out, okay, this is wrong, you must see in a justified way. All of them, you should look after all of them, all your children. So like that he used to advise. Again, Swamiji used to tell, you see, not that Sri Krishna was violent or wanted wars. He tried to help Pandavas and tried to help Kauravas also to avoid the war. Many ways he tried to explore all avenues before they had to go for the actual war. To the extent when he came to the court of Dhritarashtra, and while talking all this, what justice to be done, give back their kingdom, Pandavas. Okay, that was all the dice deal that was worked out. Now that they have fulfilled their 12 years of remaining in the forest and 1 year incognito, now it is time that you give them back their kingdom. Let them they live peacefully, and Duryodhana can live with Hastinavati peacefully in his kingdom. But as Duryodhana went on refusing and very rude to Krishna also, finally Sri Krishna offered, if you don't want to give anything, just give 5 villages, small villages, county villages. I promise that I'm sure Pandavas will accept when I say that one. On their behalf, I can promise you that we can avoid the war. Like that, they tried to avoid war in every way. But one selfish, wicked person, when he insisted, Duryodhana, no, I'm not going to give even the tip of the needles, that much of land also I will not give them. Let them come to the war field, battlefield, we will see there. So then war became inevitable. This is how wars and conflicts happen in this world. People should talk and try to explore all avenues that is possible. Try to give them what is the justice of theirs, that must be given. If one party refuses to do justice, then the conflict happens. Otherwise, there was no conflict. If the Guru permits you to remain in the ashram, in a corner, you build a room for yourself and do sadhana. If you simply do sadhana, why will a conflict arise? But if you want to take more land of the ashram and you want to cut the trees of the ashram, then disturb the ashram's peace, then try to show your power, then the conflict arises. That is all the reason. Otherwise, there was no reason for any conflict at all. So like this, Sri Krishna also taught, like this Swamiji used to talk about Sri Krishna's great work. He was very appreciative. That is needs to be done. Simply telling him as an incarnation, he did everything out of divine play, not. He worked very hardly. He had to work out. He had to understand everybody's temperament. He had to careful. He had to help Pandava so that they don't get defeated. In the name of dharma doesn't mean that you have to be weak and you don't have a right to defend yourself. You have to be clever also in this world. You don't have to become cunning and selfish, but you need to be clever. You cannot afford to be a foolish person. That's very important. So like that, Swamiji used to talk about Sri Krishna.
Thank you, Baba. Babaji, in the Gita, Baba's mentioned that Krishna teaches many paths. He seems to describe a technique very close to Jangama Dhyana in there. Could Babaji please comment on that?
Exactly. Actually, what we call it as Jangama Dhyana is a rediscovered technique. It was practiced in very, very ancient time, one of the highest methods practiced in very ancient time. The same technique was given to my Guru by the manifestation of Lord Shiva, who came as a Jangama sage. That is the thing. In Rigvedic era, probably they all practice the same technique. That is why they called in between eyebrows as the commanding circle. Agna Chakra means when you are able to gather the mind here 100%, that becomes purified and consciousness and easily can get detached from the reflections or clutches of the brain. And then the one sadhak seeker feels as if he is on the head here, that which is recognized as the Sahasrara Kamala. Means then the mind has become purified as a consciousness, pure consciousness, and is blossomed like 1,000 petals. Very often this blossomed like a things become, no, it is the 1,000 petals lotus. There is so much of difference. Like a 1,000 petals or 1,000 petals lotus, they are different. Teachers would have symbolically mentioned, like a 1,000 petals lotus blossoming, the mind is also blossomed. So like that, sadhana, this was done in Rigvedic era also. So the same thing was given to Swamiji. So Swamiji just wanted to call it Jangama Dhyana. That is all. It is the same technique.
Thank you, Baba. Babaji has also spoken about Krishna describing devotion and its importance. And Babaji sometimes tells a story about Arjuna asking about Bhima's devotion. Krishna explains he's a great bhakta. Could Babaji please recount that story about devotion?
Yeah, yeah. In small stories used to come in magazines we have read as children. One time, Arjuna saw that Bhima, a lot of flowers were being taken away in bullock carts. So Arjuna went and asked the person who was driving the bullock cart. He said, "Okay, this is Lord Bhimasena had offered these flowers to God, and then all of them has become, after offering to God, it becomes to be known as Nirmalyam. Means it is already offered flowers. So not again to be offered to God. That is the thing. So we are taking away to dispose them." So then Arjuna says, "So much of flowers. How could this happen?" So I have never seen Bhima to sit down and doing worship, taking up so much of flowers or chanting anything. Then he goes to ask Krishna. He tells Krishna, tells Bhima, whenever he sees the beautiful flowers on the trees, on the plants, everywhere, he just remembers me and offers them to me in his mind. So devoted that he is, so innocent his devotion is. So all the flowers, they reach the divinity. So that is how they come to be known as offered flowers. That is how Bhima's devotion is through the mind. He may not show it from outside. That is how, just like we talk that a yogi is always worshipping God because his mind is quiet and into the self. That is the real worship. He doesn't have to chant or do abhishekams outside rituals. We do rituals or outside abhishekam, any such thing, just to inspire others. So, but anybody is in here around, they all can gather, watch that, and their mind to be applied. So, finally, what we need to understand, application of the mind, in the mind. You remember God in the mind. That is more important. Through that only you can get connected. So that's what Sri Krishna also explained to Arjuna also. And one another time, when somebody asked Krishna, "You are so loving always to Arjuna, you find him dearer and you don't seem to love anybody else." He takes that person where Arjuna was sleeping. So in the sleep also, in his respiration of inhale and exhale, the sound was coming as Krishna, 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 Krishna. So much he was devoted. So Krishna tells ki, not that I am holding Krishna, Arjuna is holding me by his devotion. He keeps remembering me all the 24 hours. So I cannot help it. So that is how I am binded by his devotion, Arjuna's devotion. That is the real bhakti, he said. Real bhakti is that all the time you should be able to remember in your mind. For that, you don't have to tell anybody. Nobody need notice. You can be working. You can be dusting. But while dusting, you can remember. We used to dust the ashram when we were young and brahmachari came newly to ashram. But all that time we were remembering, either singing or remembering Swamiji's play, everything, but dusting. I was not sitting idly. That is important. We used to make rotis in the kitchen, cooking in the kitchen. But all the time I was remembering Swamiji, that I am sure that Swamiji is watching me doing these rotis. Like that we used to remember. So that is the devotion Sri Krishna recommended, which happens through the mind's application, not just by sitting in a corner or offering flowers or anything. That is one of the exercises. But all the time you can attend to every work. You don't have to be idle and sitting on a bed and with a mobile phone messaging unnecessarily. You can be working anywhere. You can do everything. You can be working in the office. You can be doing anything, but you can at all times remember your divine guru. Whomever you love as the guru, you can remember. That has to happen in the mind. You don't have to tell anybody. Nobody has to see that. Your God will see. Your divine guru will see that one definitely. You will get connected to the divine guru. That's what Sri Krishna told and taught.
Thank you, Baba. Babaji, there are certain verses in the Gita that Babaji often quotes. I was hoping to go through 2 or 3 of those first and then invite other people to join in if they had any questions. The first quote Babaji often brings up is, "Before death shall claim thee, go to the knowers of truth." Could Babaji please go on with that?
Yeah, during the teaching of Bhagavad Gita, in one of the chapters and shlokas, he tells Arjuna. So, after talking about the mind, like Arjuna asks, the mind is the most slippery thing. How to control this one? By practicing, he tells, Abhyase tu kaunteya, means, oh Kunti's son, by practicing, always you can achieve anything in this world. By practice habits only, your mind has gone out of control. By practicing the mind control exercises, you can control that one. Now, see that before death shall claim thee, one opportunity is there, as we all talk. Once in a life cycle opportunity is there when you are alive in this body. Well developed brain is there to see what is real, what is unreal, what is permanent, what is impermanent. And then go to such knowers of truth, means who would have realized the self, a realized, self-realized master. Sitting at their lotus feet, humility is advised. Not that with an arrogance you will ask a question, hey, what do you know about the soul? You don't ask the master like that one. You need to have the humility. Seeking his permission, master's permission, by asking intelligent questions. If a question is intelligent from you, then the answer will come in the right sense. Otherwise, if you simply tell, something else happens which has no sense of spirituality at all. So, if I am just sitting, can the grace descend on me? Like that, if you ask the question, you keep sitting, whenever the grace has to descend, it will descend. Keep waiting until then, it may take thousands of life cycles. We never know. So, like that. But you ask intelligent questions about the Atman, about the mind, what is troubling you, why it is troubling you, what is the ultimate truth. Like that, he exhorts, he advises Arjuna. So, before death shall claim thee, go to the knowers of the truth, sitting at their lotus feet. This is another important. Why the feet is recommended? You are not going to sit on the head of a master. Sitting at the feet is the respectful manners that is taught always. That you should not be disrespectful to a master from whom you want to learn something. That is very important. Sitting at the lotus feet of the master, of the knower of the truth. Seeking the master's permission. You must seek the master's permission. And then if he permits, then by asking intelligent question, then adopting such methods as taught by the master, then you achieve the truth to yourself, Arjuna. That's what Sri Krishna advises Arjuna in this. So much of importance is there. A person who wants to learn needs to have that humility, not arrogance or ego. Then they won't be receptive. They will never listen with apt attention. They want to test the master and then lose. So that is why I tell, once you ask a question, then I am answering. At that time, don't interfere again. But listen with apt attention what I am trying to convey. Then there will be an answer for your question always. Otherwise, you are likely to get confused. That's what I keep advising everybody.
Thank you, Baba. One other verse that Babaji often quotes is, you have the right to perform action, but you don't have any right to the result of that action.
Yeah, that's why this is so simple and practical. Though in the shloka it comes, karmanye vadhikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana. You have a right to perform your karma, your actions, but you don't have any right for the fruits of that karma. That means, simple, see, when you want a certain thing to happen, you put an effort. That effort must come from you with your strong willpower and fully focused effort. You just do that one. When the result comes, that is not in your hands. It has to happen. Whatever happens, you have to accept. You cannot influence. No, now that there is no such universal law or guarantee that you can tell that I have put an effort like this, now the result must come. Otherwise, I'm not going to leave the God peacefully. It cannot happen like that one. So that's why he said, this is the truth, very true things he said. You have a right to put in efforts and you do that one. That's your job. Swamiji used to tell, when people used to talk, people always try to be very clever. Ki, without the grace of my master, how can I do sadhana? Swamiji used to pull them up. You do your job of sadhana, my grace will automatically come to you. But without you doing sadhana, don't expect the grace to come. If you are just sitting in a corner and eating and not doing sleeping, nothing else you want to do it, that is not the grace like that. So that is how we need to understand. You have to put in effort. For that, since ancient times, the beautiful terminology they have used is purushartha, means your effort, superhuman effort type. That much of effort must be there. Your focused effort must be there. You must do that karma. Then the result will come. Whatever result comes, accept it. Then only you will have peace. If you keep brooding why the result did not come, I put so much of effort, it has all gone waste, I shouldn't have put an effort. You must not think like that, Swamiji used to tell. Be satisfied that you tried your best. Even if it doesn't happen, no problem. Till the last breath of life, Swamiji used to tell you put an effort. Even if it doesn't happen, at least when you die, you will die with satisfaction that you tried your best. That's what Swamiji used to tell, like a soldier. When he goes to battlefield, if he gets killed, he dies. He will die with a satisfaction that he tried to defend his country. He tried to fight it out, not before fight that he gave up his life. Like that, you will have a satisfaction that you have tried. So now, when we die, we will have the satisfaction that throughout my life, I tried to teach self realization about meditation, mind control, everything to whoever came in front of us. If some people didn't want to learn and wanted to run away, we don't have any regrets. We are satisfied. At least I was doing my duty and I will always do my duty to teach. Whoever comes, whoever wants to learn, they can learn. We will do it. If one day this body has to die, when that happens, we will have that satisfaction. We tried our best to teach people, to create awareness to the people of this world about mind and mind control, about self and self realization, to tell them that you are much more beyond the birth and death of the physical body. You are that Atman, you are that soul, you are that supreme consciousness. Like that, you will always have satisfaction.
Thank you. Babaji, towards the end of the Gita, in the last part of the Gita, there's one statement Krishna says to Arjuna, I've now told you all the secrets of the universe, but in the end, you'll behave according to your inherent nature.
Yeah, this is important. You see, Swamiji used to tell every day when I initiate people into meditation, the command is given gently close your eyes, concentrate your mind and sight in between eyebrows, just keep watching there. Do not repeat anything, do not imagine anything. This must be considered as a command from the commander. The soldier will never dare question that command. He just does it. Like that, if people do it, samadhi will come very easily, simple. All you have to do is that. But people are unable to do it. Hundreds and millions got initiated from him, but they are confused because They were reading so many books. I have listened to closest disciples of Swamiji, very senior disciples, very meditated, long hours they meditated. When they spoke, they were so confused about Swamiji's method of meditation at all. I have wondered after coming here mentally, what next? So, like that, it happens. So, you need to have faith and listen to the command. That's what Sri Krishna told Arjuna. I have taught you all the secrets of this world about mind, self. But I know when you want to behave, you will behave according to your habits. Mind has become habitual, you see. As long as people are sitting in front of me, they will listen to me and that will appear very sensible for everyone. So nice. Yes, what Babaji is talking, this is like this. We must do like that. We must meditate. We must just watch and not do anything. At the moment they go out of my sight, their mind runs again. Like Ramakrishna used to tell, you have a beautiful bath in the river Ganga and then come out of the Ganga, again take up the old clothes and put it on, the dirty clothes only, and then go. So all the thing that you had the shower and bath in holy Ganga is gone. Like that, the mind gets influenced when you are there. But when you go out of the sight of the master, you forget the master, what he taught, then it's all gone in one go. Then when you sit for meditation, it doesn't come. Look, in the war situation after the Mahabharata, in the war, Arjuna used to take unnecessarily. So Jayadratha was the reason for his son Abhimanyu getting killed, that other Pandavas could not go and help him. So he takes a vow, tomorrow before sunset I will kill Jayadratha. I will cut his head, chop off his head. Otherwise, I will enter fire. Okay. Next day, the war began, and the entire enemy, Duryodhana's clan, they became very alert, very extra care they took. They said, this is a golden chance, so that to end Arjuna's life, he will commit suicide by entering fire. If only we protect Jayadratha. So he requested Dronacharya, everybody to be alert. So nobody could win Dronacharya. So next day when war began, half of Arjuna's consciousness, all the time, attention was going to sun. Whether the sun is going to set, time is passing by, Sadeva he was fighting. That's when Sri Krishna pulled him up. What was the need to announce in public that you want to kill Jayadratha? You could have simply today taken a bow and arrows, killed him, finish. He used to tell, you all have such an illness to announce big woes and unnecessarily get into trouble. Now all the enemy forces have become so alert, and your attention also is not fully to the war. 50% of your concentration is on the sun. Only 50% you are taking up the bows and arrows and you are able to fight. Now you are no match for Dronacharya. This old man knows no fatigue. You cannot win him, Krishna tells Arjuna. So just do pranam. I will take the chariot around him. Then we will go further. We'll try to fight others. Otherwise, it will be very difficult. So finally, Sri Krishna had to help by closing the sun for a while with his chakra, with his disc. And then everybody thought it is sunset. Now Arjuna will kill himself. So Jayadratha also came outside. Then immediately he removed the disc and Krishna told Arjuna, this is the time you chop off his head. He is there in front of you. And take care that it should not fall on the ground, because that Jayadratha's father had cursed, if anybody makes your head to fall down on the ground, their head will be burst into 1,000 pieces. So one arrow, he cuts the head, and with another arrow, the story says, he made that the head to go such a long distance and fall on the laps of Jayadratha's father, who was doing deep meditation. Suddenly he was shocked and he throws his hand and that head falls on the ground. So his father himself bursts into 1,000 pieces and gets killed. So you see here one important point. In those days, Sri Krishna was very well aware of all weapon system of the subcontinent. Different people had different powers or any siddhis or any such thing. They had such curses. And what is the solution for them? Such an amazing, intelligent wisdom Sri Krishna had such knowledge how to deal with it. So without Krishna's help, Pandavas wouldn't have been able to win the war at all. Such was the situation. So Sri Krishna tells ki, that's why he always ridiculed. In your clan, you all have this illness of taking up oaths unnecessarily. And just bind yourself to that one. And then you are confused again, don't know what to do. He used to ridicule Krishna, Arjuna.
Thank you, Babaji. Babaji, we've had some people write some questions in, and I was hoping after we'd answered those, we might ask people to raise their hands if they had any
Okay.
other questions.
Yes.
Babaji, Rita has written in, where does fear and anxiety arise from, and how do we overcome it?
See, your mind has the ability to imagine. When it imagines an insecurity situation, something danger, something unwanted, unpleasant for you, then a fear also arises. So that means you are very negative in your thinking. That's why we try to teach. If you can be positive in thinking, you can overcome this negativeness. Just be there like that. Swamiji used to tell, after all, my head is going to be cut. Like I have told in primary school, our teacher used to tell this, I remember. In your life, always remember, if anything happens, after all, my head is going to be cut. More than that, nobody can trouble you anymore. Once your head is cut, that's done. Enemy, that's all the enemy can do. He will cut your head and you are done with. So in any case, you don't have to be afraid of anything. That is important. Be courageous. Have that inner strength that we all learned. Just remain quiet and soft, but inside we are strong. We keep going. Nobody can make us move or give up our principles, our truth, our things that we are doing. So like that, if you can be positive, you can definitely overcome all fear. Think that is one. When we don't want troubles, we are not ready to face troubles. We are afraid of any troublesome situation or insecurity of living, any such thing. That's when we experience the fear. Somebody else can subdue us, threaten us, blackmail us. If you are ready for anything, nobody can trouble you.
Thank you, Baba. And Babaji, Shastri has written in a question. Babaji has previously explained about Radha being the Shakti of Krishna. Could Babaji please explain the concept of Radha and why people say Radha Krishna?
Radha was a great devotee of Sri Krishna. She loved Krishna as a divine from his childhood itself. So Swami, these are Swamiji's words. Swamiji used to tell Radha was Sri Krishna's aunt actually. People have wrongly picturized Radha and Krishna in a different way. Not like that. She was affectionate to Krishna. That's what Swamiji used to tell. Not that she wanted to marry or anything. She was Krishna's aunt and Krishna was like a child for her. She felt herself like a mother for Krishna. That's why she always was attracted to Sri Krishna in his childhood and remembered Krishna devotionally. And such a devotion, she never felt Krishna going away from Gokulam. After a certain age, Sri Krishna left with his brother to go to Mathura and he killed Kamsa and he never came back to Gokulam at all. He was in Mathura, then moved to Dwarka. Throughout the India, he was traveling and Mahabharata war, everything was going on. It was great mission work for him. He didn't have time. So in the end, Uddhava tells Krishna, you did a very unfair thing to Radha and other Gopikas of Gokulam. You never went back. This is very wrong. And at least you could have brought them to your place. You could have called them to come to you where you were. You could have called them to Dwarka. Then Shri Krishna tells, okay, if you want to bring Radha and other Gopikas, please take the chariot and go to Gokulam and ask them that Shri Krishna is calling you, you all come. This Swamiji used to tell the story, very important of the what the real devotion means, Radha's devotion means. So when Uddhava comes to Gokulam, he meets Radha and other Gopikas. He meets Radha also. Ki Shri Krishna is calling you. Shri Krishna is so dearer to you. Come, I will take you to Shri Krishna in Dwaraka. Radha ridicules him. What nonsense you are talking? Which Krishna you are talking, Uddhava? Shri Krishna is here with me all the time. He never left Gokulam. He has never gone anywhere else. And you are telling that he is in Dwaraka. My Krishna is here in Gokulam, very much with me, she tells. And she refuses to go with Uddhava to Dwarka. When Shri Krishna is here, I don't have to come to Dwarka to see him all the way. He is here. That's how we all learn to see all pilgrimage at the lotus feet of our beloved Guru. Never wanted to visit any pilgrimage places, any places. Only when Swamiji forced me, he took me by scolding, and I have gone. Even to Rishikesh, Ganga also. When he forced me, scolded, then I would have gone. To Badrinath, Kedarnath, one time he took me. Otherwise, so many years we stayed there. So many people from south used to come. He always used to ask me, would you like to go with them to Badrinath? I said, no, my Badrinath has come here. Swamiji, you are my Badrinath. I want to be with you only, that's all. So like that, we saw all pilgrimage at the Divine Guru's lotus feet. It's about the mind, Radha's devotion. It's the mind. Through the mind, she saw Shri Krishna everywhere, in everything, has everything. For her, Krishna was in the rotis that she used to prepare every day when she used to make. When she used to make butter out of milk and such thing, then she saw in that Shri Krishna. She all the time she was remembering Krishna and went on doing the work, everything, all household chores she used to do, every work she used to do. She never sat quietly. Swamiji said this. She used to cook. She used to go to forest to fetch firewood, and she used to work, clean up the home, everything she used to do, look after the cows, everything. All the time she was remembering Krishna, and she saw Krishna to be with her only all the time. That is the real devotion.
Pranam Babaji.
Amen, blessings.
Babaji, I was reading through the translation of Bhagavad Gita, so wanted to bring across one verse, and I need your help to resolve the confusion what was translated. So the author describes that in a human being in general has intelligence and instinct. They operate with their natural, their mind deciding on certain things and instincts. But the person who is realized and has gone to the self works from the wisdom of the supreme consciousness. So they describe wisdom as something coming from the consciousness, divine consciousness itself. So the realized being would get to know the knowledge somehow from the consciousness. So I wanted to understand what is this kind of wisdom and how is it different?
This is in a simpler way to understand what people call it, an ordinary human being behaving in a way that his mind says. They call it natural, but it is not natural, it is unnatural actually. Because when the mind is not under fully control, is not totally purified, such a mind is likely to become confused often and can start thinking of a very narrow in a narrow-minded way of a small selfish nature, it won't be able to visualize a larger cause. But the same mind, if it is purified through sadhana, that means in the author's words also, it starts getting connected to the divinity slowly. And in that purified mind, in our way, in the worldly language, I will tell, if you have a purified mind, which is pure consciousness, when that consciousness gets applied on to the brain and uses the brain, it can use the brain to the best of its ability by remaining as the master of the brain. Brain will be the servant and the mind will be the master. Then better decisions, better understandings, no confusion, no fear, no stress, all these things will come. You'll be able to see what the truth is. So that is what they have tried to explain. Simply, you have to understand, as long as your mind is confused and distracted, its application onto the brain will not be perfect. You will not be able to use the brains to the best of your ability. That's when you will be confused. And for you to get connected to divinity means you have to purify your mind. That purified mind is the divine. That is the pure consciousness. When it uses the brain, that will be able to use the brain in a proper way.
Okay, got it. Thank you, Babaji.
Pranams, Babaji. I was wondering if you could explain Krishna's teaching in the Bhagavad Gita. You will achieve peace only when you have sacrificed.
Yeah, this word is Tyagat Shantira Nantaram. When you sacrifice, you will have peace. This is what means. Now, what sacrifice doesn't mean that you have to give up your home, your body, your car, or your life, or any such thing. Nothing. Simply, whatever is troubling in the mind, the imaginations that are troubling, the worries, if you can sacrifice that from your mind will become peaceful. It is as simple as that. That will happen through the sadhana of meditation. When you can sacrifice unnecessary worries from your mind, you will have peace.
Thank you, Baba.
Here is some people are sitting here for meditation. There's one question has come. Please ask a little loudly so that they can hear in English.
Babaji, Kathopanishad says, arise, awake, stop not, you reach the goal. At the same time, just now you mentioned in Gita, karmanyeva adhikarasya, nothing but do your duty without expecting that, without looking at the result. So here the second thing, Gita, we are not, the goal is not mentioned there. So how do you see this goal?
You have to set a goal actually. Once you set a goal, here when generally we were speaking of karmanyevadikaraste, it is generally said, anything you desire to achieve, for that you have a right to put an effort. But when the result comes, you have to accept. Then only you will have peace. If you keep brooding, you will not have peace. That is the meaning of that sentence. Arise, awake, and stop not till the goal is reached. What Kathopanishad says, or whoever says, that means once you have set a goal, you keep trying, never give up, or that you be enthusiastic and awake. Don't be sleeping unnecessarily. Don't waste your time. You keep going till the goal is reached. That means either death happens to the body till the last breath, as we also say, till the last breath of your life, you must keep trying, or till the goal is reached, you are not going to stop. So, like that, it is slightly too different. Here, you set a particular goal and then go for that goal. That is Kathopanishad. In Bhagavad Gita, any goal that you have set, and for that you have a right to put in efforts, you must do karma. And when the result comes, accept it, then you will have peace. That doesn't mean that you have to stop putting in efforts. Once a result comes, at that moment, simply accept it. This is the result, then try again. You accept the result, then try again. You can continue. So that is the meaning what they would have tried to tell.
Yeah, Swamiji, I don't want to take up too much of your time, but I just got this doubt. When we are talking of the purity of consciousness, I'm thinking that sometimes when I sit in meditation, I don't have any thoughts, I don't have any visions, but I sense a kind of a feeling underneath, feeling maybe sad, maybe happy, or maybe an impression. So when we say pure consciousness, that means we should not have any of those things either, any impressions,
Yeah,
right?
nothing should be there. Any attribution, any feeling, any bhav is all imagination that is getting generated. Either this or that. It must be pure, means just at peace. When that is when the peace descends. When it is peaceful, means it is quiet. It is quiet means it is peaceful. If both are not there, some feeling is there. That means it is not peaceful.
Okay, then
It is the
so
mind which is working. It is not pure consciousness yet.
how do we, when we come out of the meditation, how can we stay in that state of pure consciousness without having these impressions? Or is it something that we have
Yeah,
to
you see,
constantly train the mind?
every day you practice that meditation sincerely with that just watching, when the mind gains momentum to be able to remain quiet for 1 hour totally. Then, when you come out, also, even if you need to think for some work that you may have to indulge in this world for some need or anything, but the mind will not take it seriously as an imprint. It will not be playing in the mind. You will just do the job and that's it, finished. You need to prepare the roti, you prepare the roti and that's finished. Then that roti will not be playing on the mind. So that's what the achievement would be possible when you practice meditation.
So when practicing for 1 hour, you only reach that state of quietness after 45 minutes. So does that have to improve that 1 hour meditation?
Yeah, that has to improve. Sometimes we would have said 1 hour is prescribed because first 40-45 minutes you are likely to be struggling. The mind is running away and you are trying to bring it quiet. Final 5-10 minutes, it may warm up to remain quiet a little bit. Likely. These are all likely. Uh, that is when, if you can continue for further another half an hour, 40 minutes, then that quietness, if it can stay for 40 minutes, that will be very beneficial. Then the mind picks up that habit of remaining quiet.
Okay, thank you.
Pranam Babaji. Babaji, it's from Bhagavad Gita is everything has come from Krishna. So there are two questions to that, and it is regarding those two questions. Actually, they defy the modern science. One is about the time about Mahamantras they talk about. As per that, Mahamantras.
Manvantara.
Manvantras. Yes, that is one. As per that, where our universe is even much more older than what the modern science is telling. That is one aspect. Is how far is that true? And the second aspect is Srila Prabhupada mentions about the Vedic. I mean, they have constructed a Vedic planetarium which will be opened next in 2024. I know Srila Prabhupada is not here, but what he imagined as per the Bhagavad Gita is that Dhruva star is the center, and then it's everything, all the system, like our systems are suspended through astral cords, and then sun revolves around the earth, and the earth is in the center, and that is what is said in the Bhagavad Gita. So what then when they said, if you are going to depict that in the Vedic planetarium, everybody will make fun of you. But then he said that no, that is the actual truth. The world will understand, and the science also will understand. So what do you say to that, Babaji?
You see, these are all the astrological things people interpret, misinterpret, twist and to do anything with these things, circus. This is not a philosophical thing. We deal with the philosophical teachings of Sri Krishna about mind and consciousness. Whether earth goes around the sun or sun goes around the earth is all same for me. So what we are experiencing in this world is day and night, day and night. This is happening for us, and the time is also going. So whatever we have discovered, we have to accept. If tomorrow, if the humanity discovers it is the sun which is going around the earth, it doesn't matter. That is not the thing we need to worry. We need to worry to control our own mind and know our real self, because this life is very short on this earth. Our own physical body is not going to be here for a very long time. So instead of wasting the time in these arguments, let us leave this to such people who deal with these subjects to find out whether earth is going around the sun or sun is going around the earth. We need to control our mind, understand the secrets of the mind, and finally we need to realize what we are actually as the soul beyond the birth and death. This is more important Upanishad teachings of Sri Krishna that we would like to take, grasp. This is my opinion and advice.
Okay, thank you, Pranam.